Grandpa, can you state your age and your early experiences in the 60s?
Hey, my name is Francisco Cisneros Jr. I'm Justin's grandfather. Uh, January of 1960 to January of 69, I was between 10 years old and 19 years old. My grade levels in school were like from fourth grade to 12th until I graduated in 68. As one of the biggest industries in Puerto Isabel and Brownsville area was shrimping industry. My dad was a captain of a shrimp boat. I remember I was very close with him, so I would miss him very much and couldn't wait to for him to come back home from his 12 to 18-day trips. When he was home, I would always go with him everywhere he went. I always went inside of the local cantinas with him and his crew and friends when they felt like having a few beers. Him and his friends always made sure I had a Coke, peanuts, and chips, keep me happy. Uh, this was uh, during the early mid 60s. Uh, the law wasn't too strict in letting uh, young kids go inside a bar with their parents.
Yeah.
During the mid 60s, I eventually started going out shrimping with them during the summer months, earn a little bit of money for my school clothing and supplies. Um, I also, during the summer months, before I went shrimping with him, I remember going to the fish houses, catching shrimp with my grandmother, and I also went oyster picking with my step grandfather, also earning a few dollars to help pay with my clothes.
How about the Vietnam War? It was going on at the time, like the draft. Do you have any experience with that?
Okay, during the early 60s, that's when the Vietnam War started. The Army was in charge of the draft. When drafted to the Army, you would still be given a chance to join one of the other branches, like like the Marines and the Navy or the Air Force.
Yeah.
And during the Vietnam War, most draftees they were sent to fight in that war right after training. Uh, I was drafted in 1969, but I didn't pass the physical, and I thank God for that. It was a very horrifying war,
Yeah.
and I felt for my close friends and relatives, cousins, and all that had to go over there and fight that war. And most of them they came back, but they all started suffering from negative effects of the war. Uh, their lives changed completely, even health wise. So
Yeah.
they all started having nightmares and some jumping off the bed while they were sleeping. I even had a friend that broke his knees on the floor when he fell off the bed, but jumping, having a nightmare.
Huh.
Uh, and I know my brother-in-law, when he came back from Vietnam, and I remember being in a party close to Christmas, and somebody popped some, being close to New Year's Eve, somebody popped some firecrackers, and he jumped behind the couch, hiding, you know. So it was bad, pretty
Yeah.
bad. You know, protesters against the war.
Yeah.
Uh, we had the hippies era during those years, and they were a group of young cultural young people that they had their own beliefs. They were protesting against the Vietnam War. They burned their draft cards. You know, that's bad.
Yeah.
And they did some sort of drugs, LSD, and all that. They came down. They used to camp out, and they lived in small tents. I know we had some here in the island. There was an area where they had the group had their tents, and they dressed weird, you know, long shaggy hair and all that. So that's the then um, it grew all over the country. The hippies, I think they started in San Francisco. I don't know. Then they started going this way, but they were all over. Every so often, you'll see a tiny group. I remember a few years back in Austin, near UT,
Yeah.
in Austin. Uh, they had a little camp there. Some hippies, they had their babies and everything. You know, it was weird being this at that year. You know, but that's what happened.
All right. I think that's good enough, Papa. Thanks for letting me interview you.
You're welcome.